today. Today I'm actually talking about a stock that actually is back to back, has gone up to almost 60-70% in last few days, and you know the stock is keep coming back to the resistance that he created a few days ago. Now we're going to talk about the stock, and we're going to talk about different aspects as we usually do for all the stocks that I cover. I talk about not just the charting of the stock, how much the stock is fluctuating, and also the back end of the stock, like how much the cash flow, what's the balance sheet looks like, what's the institutional banks are holding for the stock, etc., etc. So if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I release video every day. The objective here is to find stocks that potentially has a potential to grow, and we could potentially make some money on it. So let's get started with that. The ticker, the company we're talking about is called MedAvail. The ticker is MDVL. And before I come to the chart, let's talk about the company itself. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to establish like a kiosk, sort of a medication availability where, you would just go into the kiosk like you see on the picture. You would, put in your information, and then you could get whatever prescription that you had and, get your medication from there. So good idea. I like the idea behind it. And this is what the analysts were talking about. Like stock has risen 91%. As I said, back to back, it has gone up to 70%. This is 91%, but I've seen like 72, 73%, and they rated the stock more 73% more than other rated stock from the analyst perspective. So we're going to talk about the company itself. As far as the market cap is concerned for the company, is about 175 million. EPS is negative 1.3, which means they're not being profitable right now, and the company itself is not huge right now. It's a very small company at this point. However, if you see, it's up 72%. On an average, the volume that is traded for the stock is about 5 million. Today, only like until 12 p.m., 12:40 p.m., they have traded 17 million shares so far, okay? And the 52 weeks high they had was about $14, and the lowest they got is 0.78 cents. So, which means that like the 52-week high was $14. So there's some potential that, there's a possibility the stock could go up again. As far as the institutional banks are concerned, these firms hold about 79% of, the ownership they have in the company, which means the majority of the ownership is with institutional banks, and a lot of retail investors are not investing in it, which is, I think, is a good thing because, you have all these established firms invested in the company, which means the company might have potential to grow. Okay, as far as the position, increased position in 708,000 and decreased about 1.3 million. However, the ownership is still 79%, which is far more greater than what you would see on, I would call it, company of that stature, right? So the new positions, they were increased it by 342,000. And they decreased it by 34,000. So it looks like there's a mix of both. Right? They overall the position has decreased a little bit, but the ownership is still 79%, and they have increased their position. 10 of the companies bought in about 342,000. So it's a good mix of everything, and the ownership is still far more aggressive on institutional banks. Right? They hold a lot of shares. As far as their analysts concerned, they think the stock is worth about $2, which again, that's what the average price they're suggesting. We're not going to go by that, but their recommendation is a strong buy. They see some potential in the stock. As far as the balance sheet is concerned, everything is by thousands. So 38 million is the total asset, and 19 million is their liability, and net equity is about 19 million. So it's not that bad. They have good assets. There's not, liabilities are less than assets. So they do have a good stockholders equity on the balance sheet. Okay. As far as the operations are concerned, in terms of how much cash they're bringing in every month or whatever the case is, that's not profitable right now. For 2021, the operating cash flow was negative 42 million, which means they weren't really making money on their operations, and investing cash flow is whatever the expenses were. They're about negative 3 million. And finance is like how much money they have increased by giving us stocks and all that good stuff, right? So they raised about 7 million. And their end position, because they had a good 2020 with the stocks they sold out in 2020, they raised about 57 million in 2020. And from that position, from 2021, the end position is about 20 million. They don't have any free cash flow. They're negative for the free cash flow. So overall, the cash flow statement, my opinion on this is fine. I've seen this with many companies. A lot of companies, usually they do good on a stock level, but their cash flow isn't that great. So As far as the shorting is concerned, there's nothing to worry about. The stock is nobody betting against the stock. There's very minimum 1.34, which means like there's nothing that people betting on that stock is. So whatever you see, the growth you see here, basically it's organic. There's no shorting going on right here. There's no synthetic like a false breakout. People are actually genuinely buying this stock, so that's the good news, right? So at least you don't have to worry about the short sellers trying to fool you to get into the stock, and then end up going down, and they end up buying it back and making their profit like that. So let's see here. Then now the stock did go up to this level, $2.61. That was on April 8th. And today, again, the stock has reached about $2.66. And now I did draw a Fibonacci retracement here. There's a support right here, hard support at $1 and around $1.13 or so. And then, there's like it's not a hard resistance in terms of like one straight line. It's like a bracket. And it could fluctuate between $1.30 and $1.13, okay, for the support. Okay, if let's say if it crosses that support, let's say it goes down to $1.10, it's definitely going to go to 86 cents at that point, because there's nothing supporting. There's no limit order kicking in. There's nothing there that could support that sort of momentum to stay there. So it's eventually going to fall down to 87 cents. However, this is where comes the play, right? None of this is financial advice. This is my opinion, how I would do it. Basically, if the stock, I have a Fibonacci retracement here. The stock started falling down, and it hits the 38.2%. And then it started rising back up. But let's say if it started going down, it goes down to $1.13, right? Now, either you could wait for it to start picking back up, or you wait till it to drop all the way down again. And you actually have again $2 play, not a $2 exactly, but about $1 and some cents play here. Okay, so basically, this is a stock that you want to add it to your watch list, because again, there's no short selling going on here. This is organic. 79% is owned by institutional banks. So I would definitely add this to my watch list, and see. Right now, the stock has started coming down a little bit. As in the morning, its stock was started rising, and now it started coming back. However, if you look at the EMA exponential moving average, it's still indicating that it's still going to cross over, which means that there's a potential the stock to revive. RSI, however, is coming down a little bit because stock is dropping. The relative strength index is saying that stock potentially could go down, but there's no guarantee that it will all the way down to 30%, below 30%, which means that people is going to just sell out whatever they bought. We don't know that. Nobody could predict the future. However, the MACD is saying the stock is going to rise, so you could potentially see a little downfall here, and then it might pick up again. So just definitely add this to your watch list, and definitely see how the stock does tomorrow, and maybe you could make some money on that. None of this is financial advice, just bringing you the information that that I found, and which I'm going to play tomorrow as well. I'm going to wait for this see how the stock does on this Fibonacci retracement. If it goes down to 61.8%, or let's say if it bounced back off 38.2%, I could potentially see this going back up to $2 and at least $2.60 or so, 61 cents. So definitely keep this to your watch list. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. I release video every day. And if you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It keeps me motivated, bring all these videos to you all. I've been on market every day, all day, just trying to figure out where we could potentially make money. And I thought it would be a good idea for me to bring this information to you, to be able to make a decision if you're looking to buy that stock. So hope you like this video. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.